Namaste, beautiful souls. It's Dr. Danny, physician astrologer. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This video is a recorded video. I'm breaking pattern a little bit. I normally do long form 1 hour videos, but I wanted to deliver something that you guys can come back to or refer to during this coming new moon. We are going to be reading, similar to a birth chart, the energies of the coming new moon, which is taking place in constellational Capricorn. Don't worry, I'm going to set you guys up with the proper degrees. I'm going to show you how to find out what your ascendant is, and then I'm going to read to you by house, based on your ascendant, what's going on for you with this new moon. Okay, so we're going to get right to it. I don't have any announcements. All my links are in the description if you're interested in anything. Our next live will be around the second or third in order to talk about the coming eclipses and the Mercury and Venus retrograde. So stay tuned for that, and I will talk to you guys soon. Hey guys, this new moon marks the beginning of a lunation. This is a 29-day cycle from new moon to new moon. And the next new moon will mark the beginning of the eclipse season. So this new moon, I feel like it is a dress rehearsal, so to speak. The energy of the moon and sun, which are over here, I'm so excited to do this recorded video for you because I can use my pen, which I can't use very well on my Restream software. So here is Sun and Moon, smack dab in the middle of Capricorn. Here's Pluto and Mercury. Here's Venus and Neptune with Rahu, and then Black Moon Lilith with Ketu, Mars in Gemini, and Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus. A few hours after this new moon, Uranus is going to station direct. So Uranus has been drifting this way for several months and will begin to drift this way. Okay, I want to take you to the sky real quick, and then we will dive into all of these energies. But this is what a constellational natal chart would look like, and this is what the actual sky looks like. This right here is your horizon, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to actually look at the sky because I want you to see Sun and Moon in Capricorn. I want you to see Venus and Neptune together in Pisces, as well as Jupiter in Taurus. This is stunning. Tropical astrology will have these all shifted back. So they have Pluto in Aquarius right now. So everything is, this whole wheel is shifted this way, about 20 to 24 degrees, depending on which system you use. Also, tropical astrology does not include the 13th sign, which is Ophiuchus. Currently, Ophiuchus is not having any planets in it at the moment that we need to worry about. But this is a big part of the sky. This is our galactic center. This is the Mayan Xibalba. This is Christ consciousness. This is a house of the ascended masters. And you don't get that kind of energy when you're doing tropical astrology. Not that it's bad. Tropical astrology is awesome. It's definitely pointed out to me, the archetypes of all of these constellations that we can still use today. And if we use them today as accurately as we can, I think we're going to find that we will resonate much better with the field of energy that is around us. So I want to show you the sky. Let's go ahead and take a look at that real quick, and then we'll dive into all of these energies for you guys. Okay, this website you guys can go to anytime you want to. It is stellarium-web.org. Okay, you can go in there and you can put any date. You can not only put today's date and the time, but you can also put in your birthday. So you can go back. I've gone back all the way to year 0001. So you can actually watch the sky. Now, it is calculated CGI scripting, but it's based on the data that we have now and the current data up to this point. So I would just like to show you that there is moon right there on the 29th of January, 2025, around 8 in the morning. There's moon and there's sun, conjunct in the ecliptic. Now, this is not an eclipse. This particular lunation is not beginning with an eclipse. The one in March will, but this one is not. So the moon is steadily moving this way towards the ecliptic with each lunar cycle. But right now we have sun and moon conjunct in, what is this constellation? Y'all see this? Oh my goodness. This is not Aquarius, is it? No, my friends, this is Capricorn, okay? Just like we looked at the birth chart. So this is what's actually happening in the real sky, and this is what we care about. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so that we can see the rest of these luminaries in the sky. I just zoomed in because the moon's really hard to see. So if we zoom out, here you can see the ecliptic. Now, Pluto, you have to type in on this platform in order to see where Pluto is, but it'll be distant object asteroid. And look at that. It's right there. Conjunct Mercury, just like in our chart. just like what we saw on that birth chart. So Pluto and Mercury, sun and moon, right there and right there. Does it matter? I think it does. I mean, I think you can read some of these energies if you're following sort of a solar resonance. But if you're in the more cosmic resonance, if you want to know about the shift of the ages, then you really want to be quite accurate with the sky. Here we have Saturn in Aquarius, just a few days, moving towards Pisces. And then you also have to type in Neptune because it's not a visible object in our sky. So Neptune planet right there. See how it lit up and gave me the location of Neptune? So we have Venus and Neptune together. But just understand that that Neptune is conjunct that lunar north node. And this moon will be crossing that lunar node in March for the solar eclipse on the 29th of March. So there's that. Let's keep moving around the sky. We'll also have Chiron over here. Chiron. Let me spell that right. There we go. Chiron, distant object asteroid, right here. We can see that in the chart as well. Okay. Moving on to Taurus. If you look up in the sky after sunset, look straight up. You're going to see Jupiter and you're going to see the Pleiades. And there's no way that this is Gemini. Okay. Jupiter is in Taurus. Mars is in Cancer at the very edge. And we're coming back around. And here's our galactic center. This is the place that we've been discussing. This is the constellation that's left out. If you put in the art, you can see that the leg of Ophiuchus crosses this ecliptic. So what do you have? You have this, basically this vertical vortex of energy that is aligned to our horizontal ecliptic. This feels like a pretty special place in the sky to me. And we just kind of skip over it in tropical astrology. So very much a big part of the cosmology that we do. What I'd like to do now is go back to that chart and start reading you the energies to get through this new moon. Okay, so now that we're oriented to the sky, maybe now you guys can appreciate this chart a little bit better. So here it is, Neptune and Venus, Sun and Moon, Mercury and Pluto, Mars and Jupiter. You saw all of these in the sky that I just showed you, which is the actual sky. If you don't believe me, go outside after sunset and just look straight up at Jupiter and you'll see the Pleiades right next to it. That's Alcyon right here. Okay, so here we have a sun and moon in the constellation of Capricorn. Capricorn is traditionally referred to as goatfish. What does goatfish mean? Well, imagine yourself as a fish at the bottom of the sea, right? You can't really see very far. You're mostly just sort of swimming and sensing the world around you. You don't really have a goal. You don't really have an ideal. You don't really have any place to go until you see this very bright light beyond the water, beyond the land, above the land, on the top of a mountain. And then what happens is this fish energy is inspired. It begins to move towards the shore. It begins to grow legs and hoofs. It begins to breathe air and horns and strong bones in order to literally climb that mountain to reach that light. Because that is divinity. That achievement, that sense of being able to get the thing done, okay? So this feels to me like a lunation where we are getting the thing done. So it's ideal for transformative insights, mental depth, grounded expansion, thoughtful communication, resourceful problem solving. And you align all these ideals into a tangible action, and it's really, really quite potent. Now, in this particular chart, it's measured at the exact moment of the new moon. Now, where you are in the world, it may depend. I know in Australia, it's going to be in the evening, right before midnight for the next day. So it just depends on where you live. But what you will notice over the 29 days is that moon does an entire, loop around the zodiac. So it goes through its own journey, but it's flavored by where it starts, which is right here. And you'll notice that this particular chart, the way it's laid out, puts moon sun in the second house. Okay, so there's a way that we would read that if this was your personal chart. But this person has Sagittarius on their ascending. So what I'm going to do for you at the end of this video is based on your ascendant sign, I'm going to read you your energy. Okay, so we'll go through that after we read all of this. So that's basically sun and moon, the sun being the outward expression of your spiritual self, and the moon being the inward, reflective, intuitive, and compassionate side of yourself. So your entire spectrum of being, what you project outward and what you project inward, is starting in this Capricorn energy. You'll notice that there are some aspects here. We talked a lot about this in my last live stream, but we're going to go here very shortly. This is Venus conjunct Neptune and Rahu. So I want you to think of the words spiritual connection, right? Because Venus is about relationships and harmony and balance. Creative inspiration also. Neptune's a very, very creative force, and so is Venus. You put the two together and it's quite sublime. So there's a lot of emotional depth here. This alignment fosters visionary pursuits, okay? So you really need to think big here. Think beyond all possibilities, what you can actually create, what you can do. This is exactly where the eclipse is going to be occurring on March 14th and March 29th, the lunar and the solar eclipse. So I would focus on your creative insights. And the reason we talk about the nodes with the lunar energy is because the moon tells us where the lunar nodes are. So here we have North Node and here we have South Node, or Rahu and Ketu. Rahu is typically thought of as the head of the snake, right? And this is the tail of the serpent. Ketu. This is spirituality. This is striving. Pisces, striving in spirituality. So there's a creative idea here that wants to be birthed. Also, with the coming Mercury and Venus retrogrades, they're all happening here on Pisces. So we need to be watching these nodes and all the action. In just a few weeks, all the personal energy, Venus, Moon, Sun, and Mercury will be transiting through this particular space. Don't worry, we'll do future videos and we'll talk about this. But this is basically visionary pursuits that require grounding to avoid unrealistic expectations. That's where we get this balance because it's an opposition. It's like a seesaw. Think of one on the other, and they need to be balanced, right? So North Node, striving in spirituality, and South Node, chilling out, being grounded. Okay? So this is the chill, grounded space, and this is striving in spirituality. Creativity as well. Do both. Do both this entire lunation depending on what house you're working with, okay? So those are the nodes. Black Moon Lilith also offers a very interesting energy to this South Node. Being that it's spiritual and it's grounded in the earthly matters of Virgo, Black Moon Lilith is kind of an energy of chaos, right? So it's the darkness, it's Nyx, it's creation birthing itself, it's freedom. So you can also add to this side freedom. And I would say probably like void or chaos energy. So like if you can go to the void, this is where you can create. If you're a chaos magician, this is the space to do it. So what this might mean is that during this lunar cycle, there may be some chaos that comes your way. But you as just a creative genius over here with this Venus and Neptune can balance that creative energy to find your way through it and to find yourself in a place where you want to be rather than where you weren't expecting to be. So now we want to look at the aspects to Sun and Moon. We have a very nice juicy trine here with Jupiter and Taurus to both Sun and Moon. Okay, I love Jupiter in Taurus. Jupiter will go direct, I want to say around the 3rd of February as well. So we'll have both Uranus and Jupiter direct in Taurus, the house of the stock market, the house of finance, the house of money. So things will be ramping up with these two characters on the money scene. Okay. And to have this moon trine to this means that there's benefic and generous and abundant energy that is available to you if you're willing to tap into this. And it's about earthly matters. So it might be time to invest in something, especially something unique and interesting, which is Uranus in Taurus. Uranus also trines our South Node. So remember, it's that grounded spirituality with just a touch of chaos. And now you've got the erratic, irrational, trailblazing kind of energy right here. So if there is an opportunity to use something new, something different that you've never tried before, it'll probably go very nicely and easily for you. In other words, it will help you become grounded because when you have enough finances, when your finances and your ducks are all in a row, even if it feels like it's a little bit risky and a little bit different than what you usually do, it may be something that helps you. So use your discernment for sure. I'm not a financial advisor, but if something comes along and you get an inspired hit from it, it might be a good opportunity. Okay, with the way Uranus is aligned to the nodes and with the way Jupiter is aligned to both sun and moon. In terms of finances, unusual investments, perhaps even risky investments. If you're in that space, if you feel like you're okay to do that, this is a really good time for that. Because the traditional structures are about to go through some major changes. We've Pluto is nowhere near Aquarius, you guys. We have not finished destroying the structures that no longer serve us. We have about 15 years of that. In fact, Pluto will ingress into the constellation of Aquarius circa 2040. Okay. So we have a little bit of time to think about this, and we have definitely a lot of time to really make sure that what we build now is aligned with our spiritual truths. And that's really what Pluto is going to be doing through Capricorn. So these government structures, these large legacy structures like legacy media, you can see the energy being zapped from it because people are no longer aligned to that mentality anymore. And so necessarily all of those things go away. Government changes, structures change, schools are going to change, more homeschooling going on, a different focus when we get out of high school. Do we want to go to a traditional four-year college? We can do it online. What do we do with all those buildings, of all those college campuses? All those things are going to come into play over the next 16 years as Pluto transits through Capricorn. Now, Mercury conjunct Pluto means that something that was hidden is probably going to come into our awareness during this lunation. So because it's happening at the beginning of this lunar cycle, and this conjunction is pretty tight, I mean, it's within 13 seconds of that new moon, some sort of information will be revealed. Something that has been hidden will be revealed. That's what Pluto and Mercury do together. This is the investigator, the spy, espionage, secrets coming out. So this is going to be so good. For those of you that aren't in the know, that need to be in the know, you will be in the know during this lunar cycle because this energy is going to be coming out pretty quickly. I can't tell you exactly what day, but I would say that probably somewhere between when Pluto hits, when Mercury is hitting Pluto and when Mercury hits the sun, which will be on February 9th. Okay, so I'm going to write these dates down for you on here for this Pluto Mercury secrets revealed, so you guys can keep your eyes peeled on that. And also, when we talk about your houses, it'll include this Pluto Mercury energy because that'll be part of the house we read. So secrets revealed, or information, hidden information coming to the surface. So the day that they're conjunct is 129, and the day that this is Mercury conjunct Pluto with Pluto, and then on 2/9, Mercury will be conjunct the Sun. Okay, conjunct with Sun. So I do believe that somewhere between here, the information that Mercury has will be carried into the light. Okay, so just keep your eyes peeled for that during this lunation. I think that'll be a big deal. All right. Now, this combination will also, both of them, both Sun and Moon and Mercury and Pluto, are trining back to the South Node Black Moon Lilith. So remember, we talked about that unusual creative energy, that inspiration behind some kind of creative project or investment or something financial. Truth's going to come out. That's going to, both of these energies are funneling towards your spiritual groundedness. So I think both of these things will help ultimately ground you. So that we can focus on this wave of energy that's coming during the eclipse and our creative force that we have right now with the three of these energies together in Pisces. Asteroid Lilith and Mars in an opposition. Okay. Asteroid Lilith is going to speak to us through whispers, through intuition. She wants us to be free. She wants us to be the most authentic version of ourselves. And then here we have Mars in Gemini. This is a brilliant energy. This is a smart energy. This is a talkative energy. It's retrograde, so it might be internal dialogue right now, but that's okay. Mars will go direct at the end of February, right before Venus goes retrograde. So literally within about 4 weeks, this particular retrograde for Mars will be over and he'll be moving backwards or forward back through Cancer and Leo. But at this point, he's retrograde. So there might be some kind of internal dialogue that we can't quite make sense of yet. It probably comes in bits and spurts, like fragments, like a piece of, like, let's say you're trying to visualize or to understand like a 5 paragraph page. And what's coming through mentally right now for you is more of like, here's sentence number 20, here's sentence number 3. And it's coming in bits and spurts and not in a linear way. So to bring all that together, it can be very difficult. You'll just have to kind of balance like what is the intuitive meaning of the information I'm getting, and then what is the actionable energy? What does it all mean? And you're putting that together, and that's what this balance is doing for you. Mars will also be making a trine aspect to the nodes and to Saturn. So this is always very nice. Mars and Venus in a nice aspect just means that the energy, the inspired action is easy. It doesn't feel like work. So if you're tapping into that creative potential that we talked about, you're going to be doing very, very well with the Mars and Venus energy together. When they're together like this, it is also a wonderful opportunity for relationship energy. Like relationship energy is going to swell in a good way. So if you're in a new relationship or if you're having troubles in your relationship, this is a great time for communication from the heart, from your most authentic place, and also getting creative with how you solve relationship issues and what you do for fun during your relationships. So this is a nice aspect altogether. And then Saturn in Aquarius, this is bringing a sense of responsibility and integrity to any of your actions. So as long as you are, I feel like it's just, yeah, ground yourself in the physical, the material that brings you that creative arousal. Tap into the mental part of it, the intuitive downloads. Be ready for some information to come through and to have the wherewithal to take responsible action for it. So you see how this is all really supporting us, even though this hidden information might be a little bit like, oh, what's actually going to come out? It's okay when it does. It's important that it does, and it will be for our benefit when it does. Now, the toughest part of this whole lunation that I see is this asteroid Lilith in opposition to Mars with Chiron making a T-square. Now, Chiron is a creature that lives with pain as an immortal. So you imagine living forever with a pain and you can't die. That's kind of Chiron's wound. And in Pisces, it's about disconnection to our spirit, to our higher self, to source. That's what that deep subconscious wound is. That's what we've all been working on. These eclipse seasons, we've had like 2 or 3 years here where eclipses have been through the Virgo Pisces axis, where we're sort of bringing up all the old wounds from the mother line, from our ancient DNA, and then trying to bring that into alignment with our spiritual beliefs, and also just watching the world, the collective kind of purge its collective wounds. So this is in a tension between this scattered message that you're getting. And it almost feels like, remember that 5 paragraph page I was referring to? This feels like you get that small piece of information, you get line 20. And if you just read line 20 out of context with the entire picture, then there's a message that might not sit well with you. Like it might say something to you that triggers you or upsets you. But because you can't see the entire page, you can't see all 5 paragraphs of this message. It doesn't feel, it feels like it's not right. It feels like it's, well, what's the point of that, you know? So you get this fragmented message, you get a piece of it, you can't see the whole picture, so you can't quite make sense of it, and what you do see kind of bothers you. You know, that's this dynamic here with this T-square. And so I recommend just doing the Pisces thing, like take the higher perspective, go to the higher road, go to the higher place, try not to get too emotionally connected to it. Mars in Gemini is not an emotional energy. And the intuitive energy of Lilith in Sagittarius is more like breaking free, getting out of your comfort zones. So maybe just put that message down for now and wait until the whole thing comes through, or until this energy passes. Or it may simply be this Mercury, Pluto to Sun energy that is part of this. Like maybe that full message will finally come through and release this square for us. All right, cool. So I think that's the entire sky right now, and the major aspects that I definitely wanted to touch on with you. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And what I want to do now is give you very clear instructions on how to find your proper ascendant. Okay, because when we're talking about the constellations, it may have changed from your tropical chart. If you have by memory that you're a sun, moon, rising, da da da, or whatever you think you are, it may have come from a source that uses tropical, which is a different system. It uses sun and seasons. It doesn't use the cosmos. So you will need to know exactly what is on your ascendant. So what I'm going to do is give you very specific instructions on how to find that. And then I want you to pull your chart, and then you can click the timestamp below to go to where your ascendant actually is. I'm also going to do one more favor for those of you that absolutely want to be in tropical. I'm going to give you the degrees of this moon in the tropical astrology so that you can know where the moon is for you. It'll be a little bit more difficult for you to assess the what I'm reading for you. But if you just run this chart, this is super easy. Let's get into it right now. I'm going to show you what to do. Okay, so you're going to go to drdani.com. That's drdanny.com. You're going to click on free chart. Okay. You're going to put in your birth details, whatever they are. I'll put in mine. So 4 of August, 1974, 01:30 a.m. in Pinehurst, North Carolina / USA. Calculate my birth chart, and boom, here it is. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the constellation of Capricorn. Look, there it is. What house is underneath of this? It's house 9. If I'm watching my own video, I'm going to click to timestamp for the 9th house with Taurus rising. And that's where that's the read that's going to help me with my chart, with my understanding of how I'm going to deal with this particular lunation in my own personal life. So this will change. Not everybody's Capricorn is going to be in their 9th house or the 2nd house. You might have it in your 7th, 5th, or 3rd. And it really depends on what time you were born. So if I put 12 hours later in here, so I changed the birth time by 12 hours, where's Capricorn now? Oh, it's right here. So this lunation is occurring right here in the 4th house of this chart. Okay, so I want you to go to drdanny.com free chart, put your birth chart in. You can pause the video. I'll wait. Pull this out and take a look, and then note where your 4th house is and what your ascendant is. Okay, and I'm going to be working with a chart as we go through it, as we read the houses. I wanted to show you the degrees of tropical that this particular new moon is happening in. So sun and moon will be at 9 degrees of Capricorn in the actual sky. So you're looking for 10 degrees Aquarius on your tropical chart. And that points to the same exact spot in the sky. That's why I can't read Aquarius energy for where this new moon is, because it's actually right here in 9 degrees of Capricorn. But if you run your free chart, this is from my software program, so it looks similar to the charts on the website. So I wanted to start here. I've put Capricorn in the 1st house. This means that some of you will have a bit of Sagittarius on the ascendant, and some of you will have Capricorn on your ascendant. But the way that you can read this energy is as follows. So here we go. If Capricorn is in your 1st house, that means you have either Sagittarius or Capricorn on your ascending. So this is all about personal reinvention. Everything that we talked about through this cycle, this is your cosmic reset button. Anything that crosses the ascendant is your chance to define who you are and how you want to show up in the world. Maybe you've been stuck in an old pattern presenting a version of yourself that no longer feels authentic. So now's the time to step into your power. Align with your identity, with your deeper truth. This could mean anything from changing your look to setting your boundaries with others who do not honor your growth. Okay, so that's the energy for Capricorn in the 1st house with this new moon. This cycle's all about you. It's all about reinventing yourself. Now I'm going to animate this chart a few minutes just so we can move the energy of the moon into the 2nd house. Those of you that have the Capricorn in your 2nd house means that you will have a bit of Sagittarius, possibly Ophiuchus and Scorpio on your ascendant. Okay, so if you've got the galactic center, Ophiuchus, Sagittarius energy on your ascendant, that means Capricorn will be in your 2nd house. This is the house of money. resources, and self-worth. So during this cycle, you need to ask yourself, what do you truly value? What are you living in alignment with in terms of those priorities? It's not about budgeting, although it can be. I mean, that might be a part of it, but it's about how are you actually investing your time, your energy, your money? What are you putting all of your loosh, so to speak, into? So are you building security or are you chasing something that you don't actually are fulfilled by? Set intentions during this new moon around creating stability in your life, whether that's financial or emotional. It's a great time to innovate too, like think outside of the box. What is, especially in terms of how you spend money and how you earn money. Okay, if you have Capricorn in your third house, it means that Libra is on your ascendant. So you'll have Libra, possibly Scorpio, on your ascendant, and Moon and Sun will be in your natal third house. Okay. The third house is about how you think, how you learn, and how you connect with the world around you. You've been holding back on something that you want to say, something that needs to come out into the open. So I think this Pluto Mercury is really going to help you if you have a third house Capricorn. This is a moment to clear the air, like with a sibling, a coworker, or even yourself. You want to be able to dig deep, journaling, starting a project that involves writing or teaching. These are energies are all very, very supportive if you wanted to do that. So it's also a great time too if you want to pick up a new skill. This energy says to go for it. So that's Libra on the ascendant, possibly Scorpio with Capricorn in the third house. This is Capricorn in the fourth house. This means you have Virgo on the ascendant. Okay. The fourth house is about home and foundations and the deep inner part of your soul, ancestral type energy. So you got to ask yourself here, what does home mean to me? Maybe you need to clear out some clutter, emotional clutter. Get in touch with those old family dynamics, and see if that's tied to the clutter, either the metaphorical clutter or the actual real clutter. The trine to south node supports releasing ancestral patterns. So this is a great time to reflect on what you have inherited, whether it's beliefs, habits, physical spaces from this family legacy, and decide if it's worth keeping at this point. So those of you with Virgo on the ascendant have Capricorn in your fourth house, and it's about clearing up the clutter and deciding what you need to keep. Okay, if Capricorn is in your fifth house, you may still have Virgo as your ascendant, but you may also have Leo as your ascendant. So late Leo, early Virgo ascendants, fifth house, this is about your creativity, your romance, and your joy. Okay, so ask yourself during this new lunation, what lights you up? What gets you inspired? What makes you feel pure joy? If life feels sort of heavy for you right now, this is the perfect lunation to reconnect with that inner child. Like paint, dance, write, spend time with actual children. Like whatever makes you feel good and playful. Venus and Neptune are actually bringing in some very amazing inspiration for this lunation, hanging out in your probably right there on the descendant, so about relationships. So trust your creative instincts. And if a romance is in mind, the energy can bring a fresh spark and even a deeper connection. So that's if you have late Leo, early Virgo in your ascendant and Capricorn in your fifth house. Yeah. Capricorn in the sixth house makes Leo your ascendant. So if you've got Leo rising, you have Capricorn in your sixth house. The sixth house is about health and routines. It's also about how you serve and how you work. So it's all about the little things that you do every day that add up to the big picture. So for this lunation, it's going to be about all those little things. Take stock of your routines, take stock of your health, and how you are managing your workload. You will know that you are doing it right because if you are in true, authentic service, you're lit up. You feel good. You feel happy. But if you're not, if you're doing it because you have to, you're going to feel drained. And so you need to support the habits that light you up. Okay. Mars and Saturn are giving you the discipline to make real sustainable changes here with the way the planets are all lining up, whether it's like meal prepping, exercising, creating better boundaries at work. Do the small shifts during this month. This will prepare you not only for the energies coming this month, but also in the month follows during the lunar and solar eclipses. Okay, Cancer rising, seventh house Capricorn. Seventh house is all about the partnerships. The new moon is asking you to take a very close look at your romantic partnerships, your professional partnerships, or any other kind of partnership you have. Are they balanced? Do you need to renegotiate the boundaries? Chiron's position in this particular lunation is pointing out where healing aspects in relationships need to happen. So maybe you're ready to move into a deeper commitment. Or maybe it's time to let go of something that isn't aligning to what you want to be, how you want to show up in the world. So whatever comes up, you need to listen to that. It's really, really important. That opposition that Mars is going to have with Lilith means we have to respect that of authentic nudge from our intuition. If the relationships don't feel right, they're probably not. And so the information coming through with Pluto and Mercury may make you be aligned to that. So something may come through that wakes you up a little bit about that relationship, or there may be a deep connection where there's true, authentic connection, and then a deeper connection can be allowed. So it's a great time to slip from one side to the other here with Capricorn in the seventh house. Capricorn in the eighth house, Taurus and or Gemini rising. Either one of those will have Capricorn in the eighth house, but this would be early Gemini, late Taurus for your ascendant. So Capricorn in the eighth house. The eighth house is about sex, death, and secrets, right? It's about transformation and power, other people's resources. So this is shadow work energy. For those of you with Capricorn in your eighth house, this cycle is going to be all about old fears and control patterns and absolutely releasing them 100%. The Uranus trine to asteroid Lilith is probably the energy you need to focus on to help you break free and reclaim your power. There also might be energies around shared finances or intimate relationships. So now is the time to clarify those boundaries, set up agreements that are authentic to both parties, make sure that it's completely fair. But also be ready for the unexpected too. Capricorn in the ninth house. This is Taurus rising or very late Aries rising. So that Aries Taurus cusp or the early part of Aries to Alcyon, the early part of Taurus to Alcyon. You're going to have the moon in Capricorn in the ninth house. So the ninth house is about expansion and philosophy. In the ninth house, the new moon is looking at the bigger picture, okay? This is time to expand your horizons. Like metaphorically or literally, you need to travel. You need to go outside of the confines that you're in. You need to break pattern. Use that Uranus energy. It's very supportive with the Taurus energy because it's actually Taurus is also on your ascendant. So, or I'm sorry, having Taurus on your ascendant means Uranus is right there about to cross your ascendant. So it's time to break free. This is a break free cycle for you. Take a course, dive into some philosophy, leap towards something that feels like growth. This is a very important cycle for you with ninth house energy. All right, now we have Capricorn in the 10th house. So that new moon is in the space of your 10th house. Your rising sign is late Pisces or early Aries. And this is all about your professional goals, your public image. What legacy are you building? Does it reflect your true self? The energy that Mercury is going to bubble up from Pluto to Sun, that secret, that hidden information, is going to show you where you have outgrown certain ambitions. Uranus is going to bring you fresh ideas to step into your power. And so you could start a new project, you can pivot your career path. This energy supports bold and strategic moves. So go for it. Okay, now we have Capricorn in the 11th house. This means Pisces, your ascendant. The 11th house is about the big picture, social networks, community. It could also mean long distance relatives, in-laws, things like that, grandparents, adopted children. It's a great time to reconnect with groups, causes, anything that aligns with your values. The Venus, Neptune, and Pisces, this is a visionary, magical energy for your long-term dreams. So remember, we talked about this, the Neptune and Pisces with Venus there. with Rahu there, it's about striving towards your highest creative goal. And Neptune has no boundaries, has no limits. So think as big as you can. Think as into the future as you can. Think of the highest ideal that you possibly can for your interactions with groups and collectives. Also, collaboration is a big deal here. So if there's something that you're doing where you feel like you need help with, ask for help. Accept it when it's offered. This is really huge for 11th house energy. So you might get an offer for help during this lunation. And finally, we have the new moon in Capricorn. This means that you either have late Capricorn or Aquarius on your ascendant. Okay. Now, the 12th house is all about going inward, resting, reflecting, connecting with dreams, connecting with spirit. Dive into meditation, dive into dream studies, dive into journaling. With Chiron in Pisces, it's about emotional wounds that are ready for healing. So this is a great space this is a perfect month for those of you with Chiron in the 12th house to do those healing meditations, to do that inner work. Because the next lunation will be in your first house and it will be about reinventing yourself. So go as deep and as far and as wide as you can during this lunation so that you can come out of it and open up and a new version of you will be emerging. So yeah, anything that you're working on, shadow work, subconscious fears, you really are in a space where you can have a tremendous breakthrough that will manifest externally in the lunation after this one. Okay. So, all right, guys, that's it. That's this video. I appreciate you coming. All my links are below. I love you all so much. And until next time, namaste.